Welcome everyone, and thanks for playing the Grand National Novice Pairs. I hope you had a great time. I'm Pete Hollands, and I'm joined today by Justin Mill. He has represented the Australian Open team. He's done lots of teaching. He's played all around the world. Welcome, Justin.
Hi, thanks all. I'm looking forward to going through this with you today, and let's see what we've got.
Yeah, so for this, we're just going to talk through how we think these hands should be bid. What do you reckon about board number one?
Yeah, board number one, good hand to always start off with pretty semi-balanced hands when you're looking at the East hand. When you've got a semi-balanced hand, lots of people talk about having two doubletons as being unbalanced. Lots of people say two doubletons as balanced. And it's really the way that you sort of want to treat the hands is up to you. I find that what will simplify your life is if you treat hands with two doubletons as balanced if your longest suit is a minor, and unbalanced if your longest suit is a major, is a pretty good way to approach the hands. So with the East hand, I will open one no trump, and that will probably cut South out of the auction. The West hand will transfer to spades, and that will basically end the auction there in two spades. Not really too much to the play either. You're going to lose two spades, a heart, and a club, and you'll make 9 tricks pretty easily. If you find that you open a diamond, your partner will bid one spade. Your second bid becomes a problem. You almost have to bid two clubs. Your partner will probably pass or even support clubs to the 3 level given they've got a fit, and you'll play in the inferior contract of clubs. So opening one no trump will pretty much solve all your issues here, and they'll get you to the best contract.
Yeah. I like 5-4, 2-2 shapes. Where your 5-card suit is a minor, not a major, treating it as balanced, I reckon it simplifies a lot of auctions here.
Even 6-3, 2-2, I quite like with a minor bidding the one no trump. Again, it's just going to simplify your auction. You don't really want to play in a minor, so might as well treat it as a no trump hand.
Yep.
What do you think about board 2, Pete?
So here, East has a fabulous hand with 5-5 in the majors. It's really good. I love aces. I'm going to start with one spade. When you got two 5-card suits, you want to start with the higher ranking of those suits. South has a good diamond suit, but probably not good enough to overcall at the 2 level. I'm reasonably conservative with my overcalls at the 2 level, so this one, not enough outside stuff, so they'll pass.
At the 1 level, that would be a fine overcall. If the opponent's opened a club, I would overcall a diamond just to tell partner what to lead. My basic sort of proviso of overcalls is 8+ points at the 1 level, 11 or 12+ points at the 2 level.
Yeah. And this South hand's only got 7 points, but all their points are in the suit, so that's why you can sort of sneak it into a 1 level overcall, but not a 2 level overcall. Here, West will respond to no trump. And then as East, I'd bid 2 hearts, showing 5 spades and 4 hearts. And West only has 2 spades and 2 hearts. What I want to do here is what's called preference. So I want to go back to 2 spades. Notice that we've already denied a spade fit. So we're not going to suddenly have a spade fit now if we go back to it. So we're only showing a couple of spades. And it's better than trying to bid something like 2 no trumps. So here I would just go back to 2 spades, and then East has an interesting choice. I don't mind passing. They could consider bidding 3 hearts, which would show a 5-5 invitational hand. Which way would you go?
Probably because your partner's bid 1 no trump, I'd probably just pass. Your partner having enough to make game with only 2 spades. They don't have 4 hearts, so hoping that partner has a 3rd heart is, grasping at straws, really. I think it's just too much. Yes, your hand's beautiful. Yes, your suits are quite good. But most of the time, you'll just end up in a 7-card fit. If the West hand had 3 hearts, there's no guarantee you're going to make 4 hearts anyway. And that's even when they have the full 9 points for their 1 no trump. They've got 2 useful queens and 9 points. They could easily have a lot less. So for me, I just pass 2 spades, guarantee the part score, and that's where I'm happy with.
Yeah. What about board number 3?
Board number 3 is South hand. We decide whether we open or not. I always count length points in, so every card after the fourth card in a suit, I give myself 1 bonus point for. So with the south hand, I would open 1 heart. The west hand would then overcall 1 spade. With the north hand, you've got nothing to bid. You don't have a fit in hearts, you don't have 10 points, so you can't bid at the 2 level. I find quite a lot of people make the mistake of bidding 1 no trump here because it's 6 to 9. However, once the overcallers come in, the big difference of the 1 no trump response is that you must have a stopper in spades in the opponent's suit. So therefore the north hand would have to pass. The east hand would pass for basically the same reason. They don't have a very good hand, and that would probably end the auction. If one of the north or east hand bids, they'll probably just get themselves into quite a lot of trouble. And I suspect that what might have happened at quite a few tables. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely easy to get yourself overboard. The important thing here is with the north hand as responding, you do need a stopper in the opponent's suit before you go ahead and bid 1 no trump. You don't want to just do it with 6 to 9 points. You don't want to be bidding 2 clubs because that's 10 or more points. So no appropriate bid. It's one of these ones where I'd pass. And you might try and bid later if you get an opportunity, but the auction gets passed out in a spade most likely.
Yeah, if the east hand does bid 1 no trump and that goes pass, you might consider bidding 2 clubs on your second bid. Probably wouldn't, but I would consider it being not vulnerable, that it would be an option.
Yep. Moving on to board number 4. So here West has a 16 count and has a pretty easy 1 heart opening. North would pass. They got 5 spades, but not really good enough to overcall. And East has a balanced 9 count and can bid 1 no trump in their hands. Almost too good for it, but 1 no trump's fine. They've got a couple of aces. I like aces is basically it, but 1 no trump. South has a hand that can open the bidding, but doesn't have any great overcall. What are your thoughts with the south hand?
Yeah, so if the opponents had opened a diamond, it'd be easy because you'd be able to double. Shortage in diamonds, length in all the other suits. If you end up doubling the 1 no trump, the problem becomes that if your partner bids diamonds, you are in a world of pain. So some people do run the gauntlet and double with these types of hands. I'm not one of them, particularly having King Jack 4 of hearts sitting underneath the West's 1 heart opening. The King Jack are likely to be useless. So I'm very happy to sit back, defend, and as we see on this hand, if you bid, even if partner bids spades, the opponents can make more spades than you can when you've got 9 of them. So this is just sort of an endorsement of why you shouldn't be bidding with balanced hands.
Yeah. So the way I would see a good auction going on this one is a heart pass, a no trump. South would pass, and West would just show their clubs. I'd just be bidding 2 clubs here. We've got a few extras, but you're not good enough to jump or do anything else. North would pass, and East has 9 points. They can raise to 3 clubs. And South would pass. West has a good hand. After a heart pass and no trump, when you bid 2 clubs, if your partner was absolutely minimum, they could have passed. So the fact that they raised to 3 clubs does show some values. So I'm now interested in game. I would just follow up by bidding 3 diamonds, which for me just rounds out my shape. It says I got 5 hearts, I've got 4 clubs, and I got some diamonds. And basically highlighting I'm a bit worried about spades. Where do we want to go? And your partner's got spades covered and they can bid 3 no trump.
I think the East hand should actually bid 4 hearts. I think once your partner bids 3 diamonds, they're showing that they've got 5 hearts. They're showing that they've already shown 4 clubs. They've just bid diamonds, so they've got 3 or 4 diamonds. So partner has a singleton or void in spades. So what this means is if you play in 3 no trump, you have to make the first 9 tricks before the opponents get the lead back. Whereas playing with hearts as trumps, you can probably afford a loser. Partner will get to trump in, and you'll be in a much more comfortable spot. So having those 2 aces is just such a powerful attribute to your hand. If you actually take the original way that points were counted, an ace was worth 4.6, when the original counting method was put in, king was 3.2, a queen was 1.9, and a jack was 0.7. However, if you actually counted your points that way, you'd have people running and screaming before they even finished their first class. So what this does tell us, however, is that aces are really, really undervalued. So for me, I'm definitely wanting to bid a game as the east hand. 3 no trumps does make with the very fortunate heart layout, but 4 hearts is just a far better contract. So for me, having 2 hearts, I'm happy with the 7 card fit. I think partner bidding game will be able to basically make 4 hearts, as we see here.
What about board number 5?
Board number 5. So the north hand, that's a pretty ugly hand. So north will pass, and basically the east hand has a hand where they've got 9 high card points, 7 card suit. They decide whether they're too good for a preempt and open 1 diamond, or preempt and bid 3 diamonds. I would personally open 1 diamond, being not vulnerable, but if I was vulnerable, I'd open 3 diamonds. What are your thoughts on the east hand?
Yeah, I think that's about where I'm at. I'm sure that most of our people would be preempting 3 diamonds though, so we'll run with that.
Yeah, we'll start with a 3 diamond preempt, and that will put a lot of pressure. Both 1 diamond and 3 diamonds will put a lot of pressure on the south hand. With the south hand, they've got several options. They could just bid 3 hearts over the 3 diamonds, or they could double. Can't see any other sensible option. Can you? What do you think with the south hand?
Yeah, you sort of have to choose between those. I feel like if you just bid 3 hearts, you're not going to really convey your strength there. But the flip side of that is if you double, you can get yourself into some hot water as well. Like if you double and partner bids 4 spades, which they're entirely allowed to do if they had a different hand, you have a really difficult problem again as well. So both have their downsides, so it's certainly awkward. Which way would you go?
I would go, given the strength of my hand, I have a pretty basic rule that once I have 19 plus points, I'm going to start with a double. And if my partner jumps, then I'm usually going to have enough values that they'll be fine in whatever they bid. And if they bid at a lower level, I can always bid again. Let's say partner bids 3 spades, I'd now bid 4 hearts. That's usually the way I go. It's sort of good to just have a general philosophy that you can follow. If you're trying to pick and choose what to do on every hand, then your partner's never going to know what you've got. Whereas if they just know this is the style of your bid, double then bid is 19, 20 plus, then partner will actually be able to work out what you've got far easier. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the hand, you need very little from partner to be making a game in general. So I feel like if you start with 3 hearts, you'll just be missing games too often. Here, partner's got the queen jack of spades, which don't actually help you take any tricks. It's just the fact that they've got a fit for hearts, which is enough for you, and a fit for clubs, which is enough for you, that you can actually make game here. So we're making game. If you just bid 3 hearts, I think you'll be missing game too often. So I like double, but it could be awkward occasionally, but worth the risk.
So let's just say that you do double as the south hand. The west hand has to pass because they don't have a fit for their partner. They're not strong enough to bid their spades, so they'll just pass. What are you going to do as the north hand?
Yeah, that's pretty awkward. So first of all, you do typically want to try and bid in these spots. If partner makes a take-out double, I would take it out. There's you could just hope that they go down, but I would bid something.
In match points, it's probably right to pass because when the opponents make, you say, oh, well, that's a 0. But on average, the opponents are probably going down 1 trick or maybe 2, and that will probably be better than you bidding on and likely going down yourself. So if you were playing in pairs, pass easily could be the right option. Just never do it in teams scoring match points. So it would be a tough choice here. Obviously, completely wrong because your partner's quite unbalanced. But if your partner had more of a balanced hand, then it easily could be the right thing to do. But what would you bid with the north hand?
Yeah, so I would probably try 3 spades. You could bid 4 clubs. You could bid 3 hearts just for keeping it at a lower level. All of these options could be okay.
I tend to bid 3 hearts. Whenever I have a terrible hand, I try and bid the cheapest bid that I can make in the hope that my partner can bid something else. So double and bid no trumps, or double and bid spades, or double and bid clubs. The higher you bid, the more preference I believe it shows towards that. So if you bid 3 spades, you're showing more of a preference to spades than hearts. You bid 4 clubs, you're showing more of a preference to clubs. So I find that the cheapest bid is more generic in my mind. So I tend to bid 3 hearts, but that's just a style thing. I think most players would tend to bid their stronger suit and bid 3 spades. I think that would be a more common treatment, but yeah. I do tend to just pick the cheapest and bid 3 hearts.
Sort of in that vein, a similar sort of thing happens when the opponent's open, say, 1 club and your partner makes a take-up double and you have to bid. Here, lots of people go, oh, my partner's probably shown majors, I should pick between a major. But I actually really strive to try and bid my minor, just because that will not encourage my partner.
Yeah, very, very good point. Normally, when you're picking between a major and a minor, if you've got a good hand, you should always strive to bid the major. If you've got a weak hand, you should always strive to bid the minor. However, the minor's at a level higher. That's the only thing. Yeah. If the opponents had opened 3 clubs and I had 4 diamonds, easy, I'd bid 3 diamonds at the speed of light. But bidding up to the 4 level and basically ruling out 3 no trump, partner might actually think that you have some points.
Yeah.
I wouldn't crucify my partner with the south hand if I bid 4 clubs and partner bid 6 clubs. I wouldn't be upset with them. It easily could be the right thing to do. So I think of the options, 3 hearts or 3 spades for me are the winners. Pass being my probably 3rd option.
Yeah, pass certainly could work. If they make 3 diamonds, you get a bad score. But if you bid and you go down, it's entirely possible you're getting a bad score here. So passing 3 diamonds is largely just hoping partner's got a good enough hand that you're actually beating it. It's actually a reasonable choice when your hand's absolutely terrible, you got nothing to do, and the opponents are bidding at a really high level. You don't actually want to ever do this if you're at the 1 level. It's not something you really want to consider there,
or even the 2 level.
Yeah, it's just as the auction starts getting higher and higher, your options of doing this, it becomes more acceptable as an option. But you really need a forgiving partner.
Yeah, you want to say partner to your partner when you pass. I know I should bid, but I think this is a better option. And when it makes you say, sorry, partner, I am the worst partner ever. I should just do what I'm told next time. So, yeah. What about hand 6? What are we feeling?
Yeah, so here East would pass. And South has a fabulous hand, 5-4-0-4, 18 points. Really, really strong. That would start with a spade. And West can make a takeout double. They don't have 4 hearts, but you are not guaranteeing 4 hearts. You're just showing shortage in spades and all the other suits, and that's perfectly fine.
What about a 2 club opening by the South hand? What do you think about that?
I don't try and strive to put my hands into a 2 club opening. I'm rather conservative of when I actually do that. Also, I'm not a big fan of putting 2 suited or even 3 suited hands in, because sometimes it can get really tricky. Now, starting with spades is one of the easier ones for doing that. But even that, I feel like most of the time we might need a bit of help from partner. And even if we don't need help, we don't need much help, the auction is probably not going to get passed out in a spade very often anyway. And I feel like you'll be able to show your shape relatively easily. What about you?
Yeah, when Pete says he's conservative, I make him look like he is the most aggressive 2 club opener in the world. I hate opening 2 clubs with an absolute passion. I would rather open 4 spades than 2 clubs on a hand like that. I just think that 2 clubs never gets you to the right point. When you're bidding based on distribution, the auction will almost never end at the 1 level. So just open with your favourite suit. I reserve 2 clubs for 23 plus points. If I have 23 or more, I'll open 2 clubs. And even sometimes with 23 or more, I might not. But I want my 2 club bid to be that I am so good, the auction probably will end. Whereas you look at this hand, as soon as you open 1 spade, the West hand's bidding. So you were much better off having opened a spade and then picking what your second bid will be later. So 1 spade, we've got a double, North will pass. What are you going to do with the East hand over your partner's double?
I think there's close between 2 and 3 diamonds. I reckon I'd try 3 diamonds. I've got most of my points in my suit and a 5-card suit. Without a 5th diamond, I would only be bidding 2. What about you?
Yeah, so when you bid 2 diamonds, partner's going to expect you 0 to 9. When you bid 3 diamonds, partner's going to think you're 10 to 12. So what is your hand actually worth? And I think given the fact that your hand is at the absolute top of that range, you've got a 5th diamond, I do want to upgrade my hand into the 3 diamond category. And it's much more to do with just describing your hand. If the North hand bid, it would be super easy. You'd bid 2 diamonds and you'd be content because you volunteered the action. You've got some points. Whereas over the double and pass from the North player, if you had a 4-3-3-3, actually just go back to the hand number 5. If you had that as the North hand on board 5, your partner doubled 1 spade, you would bid 2 clubs with that hand. And that's sort of the hand partner could be expecting. The East hand on board 6 is far, far better than the North hand on board 5. So that's sort of my comparison rate. So that means that for me, I'm definitely going to bid 3 diamonds. I'm significantly better than the previous option that I could have. And over 3 diamonds, South's got a pretty easy double, forcing the North hand to bid. North will bid 3 spades. And then South will say, well, my hand's so good, I'm just going to bid game anyway and bid 4 spades, I think. Basically, you can make game opposite almost nothing. As proven here, your partner has almost nothing, and you can make game. Now, pretty awkward play problem if the opponents just start leading diamonds. How you actually make the contract is just by tackling the hearts. The opponents lead a diamond, you trump in, start working on the hearts. You want to try and set that queen up as a winner to combine with your 5 spades, your 3 clubs, and 1 or 2 heart tricks. And you'll end up making quite a lot more tricks if the opponents just keep playing diamonds at you. You'll probably make 11 tricks if they do that. What are your thoughts, Pete?
Yeah, I think you need to tackle on the hearts. If you just start by drawing trumps, the opponents will just keep playing diamonds. Like the heart suit doesn't look promising. Like you've got 4 low ups at the queen, but if you don't play hearts now and the opponents aren't playing hearts, you kind of have to get there at some point, and you're just sort of postponing it, and you'll actually give up your chances if you wait too long.
So there's a good saying that people use that I find is do your work early. In the spades, there is no work to do. In the clubs, there's not really any work to do. The hearts is the suit you've got the work to be done. The earlier you do that, the more likely you are to succeed in your contracts.
Yep. Moving on to board number 7. How do you reckon this one should be tackled?
So South's going to open 1 spade. North has a good hand. 12 high card points plus a couple of lengths, so they'll bid 2 clubs. South will bid 2 hearts. And then the North hand probably is just going to bid 3 no trump. And that will probably end the auction. Not great, but that's probably how I foresee the auction going. What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty practical way to bid it. You got diamond stoppers. It's not like you might get yourself into trouble if you start fluffing about. So
yeah,
nice simple auction there.
South might choose to bid 4 no trump over the 3 no trump to invite you to bid a slam, but given that you've already jumped to game opposite potentially 12 points, you don't really have much extra. So I think you'll either end up in 3 no trump or 4 no trump. And note, don't worry about having stoppers in a suit your partner's bid. Anytime your partner's bid a suit, just assume they've got the stoppers. Even if they don't, the opponents might not lead that suit anyway. So don't worry about the fact that your hearts and spades are so weak. What do you think about board 8?
Yeah, so here it'll go pass, and North can open a spade. East has 18 points. They've got an awkward choice here. So you might be choosing between bidding 2 diamonds. You might be considering to double and then bid your diamonds later. Often people hear of a power double, which is sort of, they hear the 16 or more points thrown around. 16 points is like super bare minimum. You need some really good distribution for that. Here, like 18 points, I think, is when I actually start considering it more often.
For me, again, it's the 19 plus. I'm a 19 plus, as you heard in the previous auction over the 3 diamond preamp. 19 plus, I'm going to start doubling and then bidding. Less than that, I find you'll just be better off just overcalling.
Yeah, so like what I like to try and, another way I like to consider it is, what if the auction gets preempted a little bit? Like let's say it goes 1 spade, double 3 spades or something like that. What would I then do with the East hand? I haven't even started showing, I haven't shown my points. My partner completely thinks I've got the wrong type of hand. So for me, this is a 2 diamond bid.
Particularly with the shortage in the other major, had the opponents open 1 heart, I would definitely double, because if partner bids spades, I'm not unhappy. Whereas over 1 spade, if you double and partner bids hearts, you still actually have no clue what you should be doing. So I don't like doubling with singletons and voids in an unbid suit. You'll get yourself in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, so I think a good option would go a spade, 2 diamonds, South would pass. West has a good fit, but only 5 points. I'd be passing here, but I might be bidding later with that sort of hand. And round to North, who should be making a takeout double. I've got spades and clubs. I much prefer a takeout double here rather than, say, bidding 3 clubs or doing anything else.
Yeah, certainly agree with that. Partner could have a hand with lots of good diamonds. They might want to pass the double. They could have a hand, as they do, with lots of hearts. The North-South best contract is hearts. If you bid clubs, you're never going to find that option. If you double, which is what I'd do, the East hand would have a tricky option over the double. What would you do with the East hand?
So they could consider a redouble. Most people aren't too familiar with redoubles, but redouble should just show like a pretty good hand, and I think that's what I would do if you didn't redouble. My intention would be probably to pass, see what the opponents do, and then try and make an action later. What about you?
Yeah, I completely agree. Any time you're redoubling, it sort of says to your partner, I'm very serious about what I've done as the opener or overcaller. Whereas if you're the other players, the responder or the advancer, the redouble is much more used to find fits. So as the overcaller, once I redouble, I'm saying, partner, I want to bid more, but I'm not really sure what I should be bidding. So I would redouble as the East hand. South will bid 2 hearts. West will then chime in with their, hey partner, I actually have a fit, and bid 3 diamonds, which will end the auction, I suspect. North shouldn't bid for a 3rd time,
No.
but I find some people will. If they do, 3 hearts is actually quite a good sacrifice on the hand. 3 diamonds will make very easily. 3 hearts will probably go 1 or 2 off. So on the hand, it's actually right to bid 3 hearts, but that should be South's decision, not North's.
What about board number 9?
So board number 9, we've got the 5-4-3-1 distribution, so not appropriate for a 1-no trump opener. So we're going to start with 1 diamond. East doesn't really have very many points. South will bid 1 spade. West has got a balanced hand with only 9 points, so they'll pass as well. And then it comes to the North hand. Once they've got a fit, they have their 16 high card points, plus 3 for a singleton is 19. So therefore they are going to bid to 4 spades. And depending on your level of sophistication, whether you just bid 4 spades straight away, or if you're familiar with splinters, which is jumping in a new suit to show a fit and a singleton or void, that would also be another option. Just depends on what you have as an agreement. I don't think that there's any real difference between the two on this particular hand. I do prefer the more sophisticated version, but that's just me.
It is important that this north hand is worth going to game after partner bids a spade. So whichever your methods, you should end up in 4 spades there. Yeah. That being said, even if they bid 3 spades as north, which I think is underbidding it, south with a 5-5 shape should probably raise to 4 spades.
Yeah, 7 high card points, a singleton and a doubleton. They've got 11 points, including their shortages. They should be raising the 3 spades. But yes, incredible underbid.
Yeah. Moving on to board number 10. This comes back to the 5-4 or the 2 doubletons. Is it balanced or not? And this hand has 16 points. I would very happily treat this as 1 no trump. And again, it just simplifies your auction. Here I would go 1 no trump. South has a little bit of shape, but probably not good enough to bid. But
particularly vulnerable, yeah. You wouldn't.
West has 10 points. They have a 4-card major, but they're a very flat hand, a 4-3-3-3 shape. I tend not to stamen with this hand shape, but I do have enough points for game, so I'll just have this auction go 1 no trump, 3 no trump.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect auction. Short, sweet, simple, and even if the opponents lead out the ace and the king of hearts, your 8 of hearts becomes a stopper later in the game. So basically, whatever the opponents do, you're probably in a pretty good position to make your game contract. The question will be is if they lead a low heart, which black suit finesse you take. If you choose to take a club finesse, you'll go down because the king of clubs will fail. They'll lead a heart back to their partner and they'll win 4 hearts and a club. If you choose to take a spade finesse, that will succeed and you'll win 4 spades, a heart, 3 diamonds and a club for your 9 tricks. I just think it's a pure 50-50 on which one you take. I always take the club finesse because it will yield more tricks if it works. So I would be I'm going down on this hand. What about you?
I think that's entirely sensible. If you went down, bad luck, basically. What about board number 11?
So board number 11, the old 20-20 point split. Don't you love these hands where whoever wins could be right? So the West hand will have the first chance at doing some damage, and they'll open 1 no trump. And the question for the North hand is, are they good enough to double? And a double of 1 no trump is a penalty double. And I'm completely on the borderline here, whether I do or don't. Given the fact that partners are past hand, we've got the 1 no trump bidder, I'm so balanced, I tend to just pass. But I'm very, very happy with a double. What are your thoughts with the North hand?
Yeah, so a double's typically 16 or more points, so you have enough points as such. I think that this is probably a pass, just because it's going to be so awkward to lead from whichever suit you actually want to lead from. In general, I'm happy doubling with this amount of points, but
you want to have a suit to lead.
Like, what's going to happen is you might try a spade and then they win, then you get back in and you're like, what do I try now? And it's just going to feel really awful the whole way through.
If you had the 10 of spades as well, Queen Jack 10, then it'd be easy. I'd happily double because you just know you can just keep plugging spades from the top and you'll have absolutely no problem. But having the broken sequence, it's just too likely that your partner's not going to have anything. You're going to be struggling on what to lead. Here, when you start leading spades, you're actually going to set up the opponent's 10, and that will probably be enough tricks for them to make their contract. So, tricky, but whatever you do, I think it's going to be 1 no trump, pass, 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 or 1 no trump, double, pass, pass, pass. And I would lead the Queen of Spades, top of my broken sequence. A broken sequence meaning you have a gap of 1 somewhere. That's fine. And how the opponents play and how you defend a bit of how good are you?
Yeah. I think that if you had the 10 of spades, it would make all the difference, as you said.
Having an easy lead is, for me, what is the crux between passing and doubling. If I've got a good lead, I'll always double. If I'm sitting there, I think, this is an okay lead, or I don't know what to lead, then just pass, is my general theory. What do you think about board 12?
Yeah, so here we'll go pass to ace, and I've got 10 points with 6 diamonds and 5 hearts. It's always an interesting question of which suit do you actually open when you have a 6-5.
Do you have a rule that you use?
I don't have a strict rule, but so firstly, if you're higher ranking suits, the 6-card suit, I'd always be opening that. So it's only an issue when your lower ranking suit is the awkward one. Usually if I've got sort of 13 or more points, I'll open my longest suit and just commit to trying to bid the other one a couple of times. Basically, am I happy to pretend that my hand is a reversing strength shape? Or also just sort of trying to plan out the auction a bit. If I had spades instead of hearts, I also think that would be a lot easier. Basically, I look forward in this auction and see that I'm going to have a few difficulties if I start by a diamond. I personally would open a heart.
Yeah, I agree. What you have to assess whenever you've got 6 of a minor and 5 of a major is the difficult auction, is am I happy to go through my barrier or reverse, same thing, depending on who's taught you. And for me, anytime you're under about 13 or more points, as Pete said, I would always open my major. Anytime I'm over that 13 or 14 points, plus I'll have some length, I'm happy to reverse. So here, even though we've only got 10 high card points, we've got the 6-card suit and diamonds, which I'm giving myself 2 bonus points for, and a 5-card suit and hearts. So I'm 13 points in total, but a reverse is sort of 15, 16 plus. So as I'm under that, I'm going to open my major, and then hopefully we've got a fit and I don't have to worry about the diamonds. So 1 heart, South would bid 1 no trump. What would you do with the West hand?
Yeah, so the West hand's really good. They have a fit for hearts. You would want to be showing that. You could consider starting with a double. That is the other alternative. Basically, you want to show, if you're going to be bidding hearts, I'd be wanting to show a good raise of hearts, because after a 1 no trump overcall, you're not that likely to have game based on high card points. But if you've got good distribution, that's when you can really have it. So the singleton diamond makes me keen to do that. So the question is, are the opponents going to be in trouble in 1 no trump doubled, or should I just commit to showing a heart raise? What are your thoughts?
So as you said, having good distribution, which means length of suits and shortages, that's the definition of distributional. Having a distributional hand, singleton, I'm always going to support my partner, and I'd probably support them via bidding 3 hearts. If I had a more balanced hand, then I'd be more interested in defending, and I'd start with a double. So if you've got singletons and voids, I tend to support my partner. Without singletons or voids, I tend to double. This is sort of my general philosophy. Now, if you did double, partner's going to remove that double to 2 diamonds, and you'll get back to hearts anyway. So I think whatever you bid, you'll either end up in 2 or 3 hearts. And you'll find if you go via a cross trump, you'll make quite a lot of tricks. It says you can only make 9 tricks, but I suspect that's with the opponents drawing your trumps, which probably won't happen. The south hand leading the 5 of hearts. I can't see that happening. I think the ace of diamonds would be a pretty normal lead, and you'd end up making 10 or 11 tricks in hearts.
Moving on to board number 13. So here, North has 6 spades, 6-4 shape. I love 6-4 shapes. If you've got them, you want to be optimistic. Some people might just see a singleton king here and go, oh, should I count the singleton king? This hand is definitely worth opening a spade in my book.
The old saying, 6-4, bid more.
East has close to an opening hand, but no appropriate bid. Some people might be considering a double here. I'm not a big fan of double. What are your thoughts?
No, I don't like double. Again, it's having that shortage in the diamonds. Means that if your partner bids diamonds, which is exactly what the West hand would do, well, maybe they're a bit too strong, but they would be bidding diamonds, and you're just going to get yourself into a lot of trouble. So for me, I'm very happy with any hand under about 14 points. I don't need to come in with a balanced hand. If your side is going to have enough for game, your partner will bid such as the hand here. You'll pass, South will pass, and your partner will probably double themselves.
Yeah, so some people might be bidding 2 diamonds with the West hand, some people might be doubling. How do you choose between those?
So given the fact that I have 3 or more cards in each of the other suits, and my long suit is a minor, I'm always taking the preference of double. If your long suit was a major, then I always tend to bid the major first. You pretty happy with that?
Yeah, that's exactly how I break this down.
So over the double with the East hand, North won't bid again because their partner passed. To bid again opposite a past partner, you should have about 15 or 16 plus points because your partner is 0 to 5. So the North hand will pass. What would your bid with the East hand be after your partner doubles? Or 2 diamonds is about the same.
So if partner bid 2 diamonds, I would actually probably just be bidding 2 no trumps, natural, invitational. Over the double, I think you've got lots of different choices here. So one choice might be to bid 2 no trumps. One bid might be to bid 3 hearts. Another choice that you could maybe choose if your partnership has this is if you're not sure what to do when your partner doubles, you can sometimes bid the opponent's suit to say, hey, I need more information. This one I would be leaning towards just bidding 2 no trumps. Most of my points are actually just in the opponent's suit. The suit that I'm trying to consider is pretty weak. So I would be opting that way. What are your thoughts?
So if I've got 2 stoppers in the opponent's suit, I'm always tending to try and lean towards the no trumps. If I have only 1 stopper in the opponent's suit, I'm always tending to lead towards the major. So for me, if I had only the king, the 6 and the 2 of spades, I would be bidding 3 hearts, putting the queen somewhere else in your hand. As you've got 2 stoppers in spades, I'm going to be bidding 2 no trump, over which your partner will make an easy 3 no trump bid. What would you do with the West hand if your partner did bid 3 hearts? Because that's quite an awkward problem.
Yeah, so if partner jumps to 3 hearts, they're showing extra values. We've got probably enough for game, and it really depends. Does partner promise 5 hearts? Now, lots of people just have it showing 4 or 5. You could continue on. Similar vein is bidding the opponent's suit saying, I'm not sure where to go. I need more information. Do you have a spade stopper? Do you have extra hearts? What do you actually want to do, partner?
I think that's the perfect bid. 3 spades, over which the East hand will bid 3 no trump to say that they've got the spades covered. And in that auction, 1 stopper would be sufficient. You don't need to have 2 to bid the no trumps on your second bid. On your first bid, the only reason I would want 2 stoppers to bid no trumps is the fact that we potentially have a heart fit as well. So it's choosing no trumps over a major. I'd want to have the second stopper. Whereas if I was just bidding no trumps normally, I'd only need 1 stopper. Yep. What do you think about 14?
So here East has a pretty normal 1 spade opening. I can't see North-South doing much bidding in this, so uncontested. Let's start with a spade pass. West has enough points for game and a balanced hand. Usually you want to just start by bidding your cheaper 4-card suit and bidding 2 diamonds here. The East hand could just go back to 2 spades.
Probably a bit strong for 2 spades.
It depends where people draw the line.
I wouldn't... 14 high card points in a 6-card suit, to me, opposite a partner who's bid at the 2 level, I wouldn't ever just bid 2 spades. I would always bid 3, over which partner would bid 4 spades. Over 2 spades, you've only promised 5 or more spades as well. Yep. So it's not even as descriptive. Over 3 spades, the auction's easy. Partner bids 4. How would the auction progress if you bid 2 spades?
Yeah, so it really depends on your method. So here, the reason why 2 spades only promises 5 is if you were to go ahead and bid 3 clubs, so a spade, 2 diamonds, 3 clubs. We don't have this hand, but hypothetically, let's say you bid that. That should show extra points. That should be happy to reverse, essentially go to game. So a 2 spade rebid doesn't promise 6. It's usually got 6. The West hand has a couple of options. They could either just bid 3 no trumps, but you're not showing a doubleton spade. It's a bit awkward, but that's probably where I'd go.
I think that's the most practical bid. You bid 3 no trump, that'll end the auction, and if you tried changing suit, partner would repeat their spades showing 6, and then you bid 4 spades. As we see on the hand, both 3 no trump and 4 spades make, so doesn't really matter. But that's why I particularly like bidding 3 spades. It just simplifies the auction for your side. What do you think about 15? Where are we going here?
Here it's probably going to start with 3 passes to East, who has 17 points in a 5-card spade suit. So here we break it down in a few different ways. So firstly, is this hand inappropriate for a 1 no trump bid? And there's a couple of concerns. Yeah, some people might just say, I don't open 1 no trump with a 5-card major. Now, I am more than happy to open 1 no trump when I have a 5-card major, but some people's style is to actually open their major. That's okay. Do what your partnership does. The other concern, and the main concern I've got here, is I think this hand's too good for a no trump. When you've got 17 high card points in a 5-card suit, you can add that 1 point for length points, and we're now actually at 18 points, which if you're playing 15 to 17 is too good for your 1 no trump opening. So I would be keen to try and treat this hand as 18-19 balanced and start with a spade. Not because I have I don't put my 5-card major into a no trump, but because I think it's too strong.
Yeah, I agree with that whole line of thought. I think it's much too good for a 1 no trump opener. So I'd open 1 spade. My partner would bid 2 spades, and then the question is, do we continue on any higher? And opposite 6 to 9, there aren't really very many 6 to 9 point hands where you can make game. You've got potentially 3 club losers, potentially 2 diamond losers, and potentially 2 spade losers. That's 7 losers. To make game, you need partner to cover 4 of those cards. Partner covering 4 cards with 6 to 9 points is not very likely. So for me, I tend to just pass. But I think if you look at just sheer points, that most people would be inviting, and that would get you up to 3 spades. South could consider doubling that, but probably shouldn't. And you're going to go lots off on this hand, aren't you?
Yeah, it's pretty terrible layout. None of the opposing cards are at all where you want them to be.
And you look at this hand, even if you flip the north and the south hands so that all of your finesses work, you're still going down. So for me, because you've got a balanced hand, scattered values, your main points are actually in your short suit, ace, king, queen of hearts. That's 9 points to win 3 tricks. You're spending 9 points to win 3 tricks with no other potential. You're going to find the hand plays a little bit worse than what you think it will. So that's why I'd pass 2 spades. What would you do after partner bids 2 spades?
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I've got a lot of sympathy for bidding 2 no trump though. Just sort of natural invitational, if that's how you play it.
Yep.
That would be sort of my choices there.
Yeah. You're in trouble whatever you do.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that.
Moving on to board number 16. What are your thoughts here?
So the West hand is just got enough to open. I would have a lot of sympathy for anybody who decided, I hate this hand and I don't want to open. Queens and jacks are terrible, and you have a hand full of queens and jacks. But I do just open because I love opening the bidding, basically. The more times you open the bidding, the better off you are. So I would open 1 diamond or 1 club, whatever your style is. I don't really have a huge preference on that. The East hand will bid 1 heart. You'll bid 1 spade or 1 no trump. What's your style of the rebid?
So my style is to try and rebid 1 no trump when I've got the balanced hand, but this is actually pretty divided amongst lots of people. So whatever your partnership actually does, it's neither here nor there. You'll find a bunch of people that bid a spade, a bunch of people that bid 1 no trump.
And funnily enough, whichever you bid of 1 spade or 1 no trump, your partner's bid will probably be pretty similar. They'll change suit or use a check back bid. They'll do something to show that they've got 5 hearts before getting to 3 no trump. And I think you'll end up in 3 no trump no matter how you tackle this. The East hand having 13 high card points and a 5 card suit, 14. Opposite the 12 to 14, you're just going to force to game. So 17.
Yeah. Here, North will pass and East can open 1 spade. South, again, has a hand that could have overcalled at the 1 level. I would not be overcalling at the 2 level with this strength. You're not good enough. So 1 spade, pass. West has 13 points. Enough points for game, but wants to take it a little bit slower. So I'll just start by bidding 2 clubs.
Why not 2 hearts?
So when I've got 2 4-card suits, what I want to do is bid the cheaper of the 2 4-card suits. One of the reasons for this is even if partner has hearts, they can follow up by bidding hearts themselves. So we're not going to be missing a heart fit in that case. And what that does is it allows you to have more meaning behind when you actually bid 2 hearts, what that actually shows.
Yeah, perfect. And that's the whole reason, is if you bid hearts and your partner likes clubs or diamonds, they have to go up to the 3 level. If you bid 2 clubs and your partner likes hearts or diamonds, then they can still bid at the 2 level. So anytime you balance, you're trying to keep the auction as low as you possibly can. So bid your cheapest suit first. When you're unbalanced, that's when you're allowed to take up room. So it'll be a pretty easy auction to 4 hearts, I suspect.
Yeah, so just 1 spade, 2 clubs, 2 hearts, 4 hearts. Pretty straightforward. And yeah. Moving on to board number 18. How would you tackle this one?
So the south hand is considered balanced again. Even though you've only got 2 little spades, we are considered balanced. However, we're not in the 1 no trump range. So just a 1 diamond opening for me. And this is the hand that we've been waiting for the whole day. Is a hand where, with not many points, you can overcall. So I'd overcall 1 spade. And the north hand, I would bid 1 no trump. What are your thoughts with the north hand?
Yeah, so I don't think you're good enough to be bidding 2 clubs. And you do have a spade stopper here. Importantly, when you do bid a no trump, you are showing that spade stopper. I think 1 no trump's great.
Yep. Over which the east hand will support their partner with 2 spades. South's balanced. They've sort of said their piece. They'll pass. The west hand will pass. And this is where I'd come back in with my clubs. I've already defined my hand with the 1 no trump. Partner will expect I'm somewhere between about 8 to 10 points. So I don't want to leave the opponents in 2 of a major when they've got a guaranteed fit. So I'd bid 3 clubs. But that's just, my aggressive nature coming out.
Yeah, I like 3 clubs here. An important thing here is, yes, we're bidding a new suit. Yes, we're bidding it at the 3 level. But we've already defined our point range. It's not that we're suddenly going to have like 11 or more points and started with 1 no trump. Quite often you can actually limit your hand early and then show your distribution a bit later. So
yes, it's rather odd, isn't it? We've just said on the first mention that you are not good enough to bid 2 clubs, but then suddenly it's a perfect hand to bid 3 clubs. And it's 2 clubs as a change of suit and forcing, unlimited. The 3 club bid, you've limited your hand on a prior option, on your prior bid. So therefore, we're happy to bid 3 clubs at that stage because partner will pass.
Yeah. Also importantly, here the opponents are just stopping in 2 spades. This means this hand's a part score battle. The points will be split relatively evenly. I don't like letting the opponents play at the 2 level when they have a fit. So they have a known spade fit. Let's try and push them up, or maybe we buy the contract in 3 clubs.
I think that's the most important point. They have a known fit. Try not to leave them there. If they don't have a fit, then you've got no problem leaving them there. I'm leaving board 19 to you, buddy.
There's a bit of excitement here. South can start with 1 no trump. And West has 11 points and some good distribution. They can, depends on what you do. I'm just going to assume that you play natural, more or less. I would be bidding 2 hearts at vulnerable against not. You do have 7 hearts. Usually I want a bit of suit quality, but the 7 card heart suit makes it good enough for me. North probably wants to try and take a bid, but it's pretty awkward. What do you reckon?
Yeah, they definitely want to make a bid, and it just depending on your methods. If you have a way where you can show that you don't have many points via Lebensol would be the convention that would be used, a bit of 2-no trump to show a weaker hand, then we've got something to do. If you don't play that, I think you're just forced into passing, sadly.
Yeah. And now East has an awkward problem. They have an 8-card spade suit in their partner's bid. What should you actually do? Now, this is sort of anyone's guess. So, firstly, your partner has something for their overcall, and you're fairly likely to have a heart fit. Some people might overcall with just a 5-card suit, but usually your partner's got 6. But that being said, I think I'd prefer playing in spades in this hand regardless. My spades are fantastic. We have a spade fit in our own hand.
Do you know what you call an 8-card suit, Pete?
Trumps.
Trumps. So, you know what trumps are. The question is what level?
And we've got a really distributional hand, and it feels like there's going to be 2 fits on this. I would probably get carried away and bid 4 spades.
I'm there with you, Pete. I would be jumping to 4 spades and I'd be happy with myself until the point where I go 2 down.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, oh, that didn't quite go to plan. Thank you, partner, for nothing.
Yeah. So certainly a very interesting hand where lots of things could happen. People could get themselves...
But once your partner jumps to 4 spades with the West hand, you just have to accept that they hopefully know what they're doing.
Yep.
Don't ever try and second guess your partner is probably a pretty good rule when they jump. If your partner doesn't jump and they take it slowly, they're actually asking for your opinion.
Yep. So, what about board number 20?
It's another fun balanced hand. So the West hand has nothing, so they'll pass. The North hand, 4-4-4-1. Yay, my favourite hand. Not literally. So when you have a 4-4-4-1 distribution, I tend to open the higher of my 2 minors, 1 diamond, just to guarantee that I've always got a sensible second bid. If I'm balanced, I tend to open a club with 4-4 in the minors. When I'm unbalanced, having the singleton, I open a diamond. What are your thoughts on that? Which to open?
I like opening a diamond here. When we've also got spades, we're probably not going to run into a rebid problem even if you didn't do it. But just in general, it's what I typically open anyway.
Yeah, the only way you can run into a problem is if you open a club, the next player overcalls 1 spade, and your partner doubles or bids 2 hearts. What's your second bid going to be? That's how you run into a second bid problem. But here, by opening a diamond, you can always bid clubs later if you're stuck. Won't be very relevant here because once you open a diamond, would you overcall 2 clubs with the East hand?
I would overcall 2 clubs. Here I've got a 6-card suit. Basically, if I'm overcalling at the 2 level, I really like 6-card suits or extra points, good suit quality. It's either I want a 6-card suit or a lot more. Also, overcalling over... I'm very aggressive, well, not very aggressive. I'm more aggressive overcalling 2 clubs over a 1 diamond opening than I am over a 1 of a major opening, with the thought being that when the opponents open a major, they're a really long way to working out which suit they actually want to be in trumps. When they open 1 diamond, they don't often end up in diamonds, so they're still trying to navigate that, and the 2 club bid's far more disruptive.
Yeah, certainly agree with that. One of the biggest bonuses you can have is preempting in a minor, bidding a minor over a minor, where it's clubs over diamonds. So if the opponent's opened a club, 1 diamond is actually a terrible overcall because you keep the whole 1 level in play and you give the opponents a bit of double. Whereas when you bid 2 clubs over a diamond, you've taken the whole 1 level away from the opponents. You're basically saying to the opponents, start your auction at the 2 level and enjoy. And the South hand has quite a few options over 2 clubs. What do you think the best one is?
Yeah, so the 2 that spring to mind here are sort of 2 spades or double. Some people might be considering 2 hearts just because the suit's better, but you won't be able to show your shape very appropriately if you start with hearts. If you start with a double, I find it really difficult to actually get any extra length. Like if partner bids a major, great. But if partner just repeats their diamonds, you're going to be pretty stuck showing any sort of length you've got. So I'm a 2-spade bidder.
Yeah, I'm a 2-spade bidder as well. I think at any time you've got a good hand, so here with the length, we're going to say that we've got enough for game. Anytime you've got game points, always just start by bidding your longest suits first. If you were weaker, then I'd probably consider a double. Let's say you had only 8 points. I'd probably double, and I can always bid my spades later to show that I've got a weak hand with long spades and hearts. Whereas here I'm strong in context, so I'm always bidding my spades first. Why can't you use Michael's Q-bid?
So Michael's Q-bids only apply if your partner hasn't done anything in the auction. As soon as your partner opens the bidding, or if your partner's overcalled, if your partner's done anything in the auction other than pass, Michael's Q-bids are off.
Yeah, Michael's Q-bids are limited to the overcaller only. So as you are not the overcaller, as much as you would love to bid 3 clubs, saying I've got 5-5 in the majors, that is not what 3 clubs shows. As the responder, if you bid the opponent's suit, it is showing a fit for your partner and a good hand. So sadly, as much as we'd love to have a Michael's Q-bid, a bid of the opponent's suit, you are not allowed to. So we'll start with 2 spades, and North will bid probably 4 spades.
Yeah, I'd be bidding 4 spades, but it feels like my hand's a bit too good for that. The King of Clubs doesn't look like a great card, so I feel like 4 spades is enough.
Yeah.
And other bids are sort of just awkward anyway. So
yeah, if you did have an agreement with partner to play splinters, again coming back to that, you could jump to 4 hearts to show a fit and a singleton or a void in hearts. But barring having that as an agreement, I think you just have to bid 4 spades. And the South hands is actually really, really good. I would bid 4 no trump with the South hand asking for key cards or aces. You find out partner has 2. You don't really care about the Queen of Trumps because you've got so many spades, so you'll end up bidding 6 spades.
Yeah, so importantly here, when you got really distributional hands, what I like to do is hand visualization. What cards would I ideally want my partner to have? And here, if partner had the Ace of Spades, the King of Hearts, and the Ace of Diamonds, that's 11 points, which would need almost nothing to be making slam. And what's partner shown? They've actually jumped. They didn't just bid 3 spades. They did show enough points for game. So we might be able to make slam opposite the right 11 count. And here we have partner's got more than that. So I think it's worth asking for aces.
And the secondary thing to consider is, let's hypothetically say your partner does not have the King of Hearts, as they don't here. It is the East hand that is overcalled. So any finesse that you want to take is almost certain to work. So in the hearts, if your partner has 2 aces, if your partner has 2 of them, you'll still just be able to take a finesse anyway, which would be favoured to work, finessing through the hand that has overcalled with points. So I think it's just fantastic. Once you get to 11 or more cards in 2 suits, don't worry about the number of points that you have. Worry about what you would like your partner to have, where your points are, far more important. So here, as Pete said, you can make a slam guaranteed, basically opposite 11 points, and your partner's shown 15 or more by jumping. So that puts me in the slam zone.
Yep. Moving on to board number 21, another interesting one. Here, North has a hand where some people might open. It's close, but I think most people would be passing this.
Vulnerable against not, I would pass. If I was not vulnerable and the opponents were vulnerable, I would open. Don't like opening light when vulnerable.
Yeah. East has 18 high card points and a 6 card diamond suit. There's interesting. What would you do with the East hand?
I would open 2 no trump. I would treat that as I have 18 high card points. The 6 card suit, 2 bonus points there is 20. And again, 2 doubletons, but my longest suit is a minor. I'm going to treat this hand as balanced. Probably I'm in a group of my own there, but certainly simplify the auction.
Yeah. If you open 1 diamond instead, the auction gets awkward. But let's try and navigate that. So let's say it goes pass a diamond, pass 2 clubs. Would you be bidding 2 clubs or something else?
Yeah, 2 clubs is the only sensible thing to do. You shouldn't jump on your first bid unless you've got a fit. So we have to start low and then work our way up. Would you overcall 2 spades as north?
So I am very hesitant to try and overcall when the opponents are when they're bidding at the 2 level natural enforcing. That they're going to be escalating the auction anyway. Also, we are vulnerable, so it's quite dangerous. I would be passing.
Yeah, I would actually bid playing in match points just to tell my partner what to lead. But in teams, I think that is the worst bid you can possibly ever make, because you could easily get doubled and lose 1,100 points. Whereas for me, in match points, if I lose 1,100 points, hey, there's always the next hand. So
to do it again.
Yeah, let's go for 1,400 the next time. So I do tend to overcall, but let's hypothetically say that they just pass.
So with the east hand after that, they're awkwardly placed. One thing that they could potentially do is bid 3 diamonds. Now this should be showing 6 diamonds and enough points for game, because if West has at least 10 and you're good enough to jump, your combined partnership points are at least 25. So I think that would be a reasonable approach. Would you see anything else?
You could bid 3 no trump to show 18 or 19 points in a balanced hand. That would be the only other option I would see. This is the reason why I opened 2 no trump, because I don't want to deal with any of this rubbish.
So if it went a diamond, 2 clubs, 3 no trumps, the West hand probably should just gamble on 6 clubs, but it's...
You might try 4 clubs first, just natural enforcing. Your partner can then bid an ace or a king that they've got, so a Q bid, 4 diamonds, and then you can go 4 no trump, find out you're not missing 2 key cards, but that's still not great. You basically are just going to gamble that you're going to bid 6 clubs and hope that partner's got the right cards. Yeah. It's much easier over 2 no trump.
If the auction went a diamond, 2 clubs, 3 diamonds, it's even messier.
Yeah, I think you maybe just have to bid 5 clubs.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I hate it.
There's lots of ways that you could, like, here, Slam is incredibly good. You want to be ending up in 6 clubs on this one. But I can see lots of auctions that don't work their way to 5 or to 6 clubs.
And mine would have been easy. 2 no trump pass. Ask for how many aces partner has. You find out you're missing 1 and bid 6 clubs. Simple.
Moving on to board number 22. Here I would start pass, and West has a balanced 14 count, can open a club. North has easy 1 spade overcall. They got a fantastic hand. East would pass, and West wants to support. What would you do?
So South will be supporting, and given that they have 9 high card points plus the singleton, brings them up to 12. So I would be supporting my partner in whatever way shows 10 or more points, which for me would be the bid of the opponent's suit, being a Q raise, showing 10 or more points and a fit, over which the North hand will jump to 4 spades. But whatever method you use, whether it be a 3 spade bid or a no trump raise structure or a Q bid, whatever you do is fine. Just as long as you don't show it as 6 to 9, you'll be okay. Remember to reevaluate once you've got the fit. And there's not really too much to the play of that hand.
No, you're just going to lose 2 hearts and a club. What about board number 23?
So with the South hand, we've got 6 and 4. Now, I never preempt when I've got 4 cards in a secondary major, so that rules out 2 spades for me. But I've got 10 high card points. I've got a 6 card suit. 2 extra points for length is 12. So I've got enough to open the bidding. I'd start with 1 spade. And with the West hand, you have several options. You could double or bid 2 hearts. I don't like 1 no trump, but does spring to mind as an option. What would you do, Pete?
Yeah, I'm a 2 heart bidder. If I double, it's hard to show my 5th card in a major. Now, earlier we talked about hands that fit into a double or an overcall, and if your long cut suit was a minor, I preferred a double, but when it's the major, I prefer overcalling the major.
Yep, I think that's pretty much spot on. If you had one less heart and one more diamond, I would have doubled. Having 5 hearts, I tend to just overcall the hearts. I can always potentially double later if the opponents compete. So over my 2 hearts, the North Hand has 10 points and a fit. So they will probably, again, whatever method you have to show 10 points. So whether that be 3 hearts a Q raise, 3 spades directly, whatever it is, that will probably buy the auction for your side.
Yeah, I think this is too good for a 2 spade bid. You do have that doubleton heart. Try and make that invitational raise. Your partner, with only their 10 high card points, will just stop in 3 spades.
Yeah, and surprisingly, the East-West pair can make 3 no trump, but there's just absolutely no way that they can get there with the North-South pair bidding to 3 spades. It's just impossible. The West Hand could make a bit of a kamikaze double,
Yeah.
over which the East Hand would bid 4 diamonds and they'd buy the auction, but I think that would be more luck than class.
Yeah. What about board 24?
Board 24, so the West Hand is going to 5-5, 11 high card points. I wouldn't crucify anybody for passing because of all the queens, but I do tend to open 1 spade. Would you overcall with the North Hand?
I would make a preemptive jump bid of 3 clubs. What about
But
you?
you've only got 6.
So when you can make weak jumps with just 6 card suits if you don't have, like, depending on what levels are available. If you have a way to show 6 at the 2 level because you can, let's say they open 1 club, you had 2 spades or 3 spades. That's more when it shows 6 or 7 for the 3 level. When you've only got 1 available, you can put your 6 card suits in there as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the more that you preempt, the harder it is for your opponents. So I love getting in with a preempt there of 3 clubs. You're not vulnerable. If you're vulnerable, I would almost always have 7. But being not vulnerable, what's a club between friends?
If it did go a spade 3 clubs, I would just be bidding 3 hearts as east.
I think so. And that would force the West Hand into bidding 3 no trumps, I guess. Let's hypothetically say there was no bid. So after 3 clubs, it would go 3 hearts, 3 no trump. Without the bid, it would go 2 hearts.
Yep.
What would you rebid as the West Hand?
Yeah, so I'm sure lots of people would bid 3 clubs here, but as I mentioned in one of the earlier hands, that should actually show extra values. This hand, as Justin said earlier, has lots of queens. It's really not that good. It does have a 5-5 shape, but I would just be bidding 2 spades. What about you?
Yeah, 2 spades for me does not guarantee 6. If it did, then you are really in a world of pain about what to do. And this is why I play the rebid of the opener's suit at the 2 level only need be 5. It's much more about showing minimum points than it is about showing your length. So I'd bid 2 spades. The East Hand would then bid 3 diamonds, and then we'd bid 3 no trump. And I think the East Hand is fantastic and probably would bid 4 no trump, trying to invite towards a slam, and that would end the auction. Now, 4 no trump is not asking for aces because you haven't agreed upon a suit. 4 no trumps with a fit asks for aces. 4 no trumps without a fit is quantitative.
Yeah. Moving on to board number 25. Here North had passed, and East has 18 points with 6 spades, so you could open a spade. Or would you open 2 no trump with this one?
I am tempted to open 2 no trump. I wouldn't probably, because when I've got 2 doubletons and my long suit's a major, I tend to just bid the major, but I would have absolutely no problem opening 2 no trump. If I was playing with Pete, I would. I just want to hog all the contracts. But no, I think 1 spade is probably the right bid. And what would you do with South?
I personally would make a takeout double. You may be like a point shy, but all your points are probably where you want them. Your club suits looks great. You've got hearts as well. I would double. What about you?
Yeah, I like double. I think my general philosophy is with a takeout double by the overcaller, you must have an opening hand if you have a fit. So if we have a fit, our hand raises up to 13 points with the singleton spade. so I'm happy to double. It is in the lower end of the points, but I think that's perfectly fine.
And what would you respond with the north hand?
So with the north hand, that's the question. Now, on one of the previous hands, I sort of said if you have two stoppers, I'm leaning towards no trumps. However, you've got the singleton club, so that to me is not really a no trumpy style hand. I would probably bid 3 hearts.
Yeah, I think I like 3 hearts. It's certainly awkward. Yeah.
I can't see anything more sensible to do. The other option would be maybe a 1 no trump bid, but again, I just don't like that singleton club. So 1 no trump or 3 hearts. I'm much more inclined to bid 3 hearts with my singleton, and because your partner's got quite a terrible hand for their double, they'll just leave you there, and that'll make reasonably easy.
East could be enticed into bidding again.
Yeah.
So let's say it went a spade double past 3 hearts. You could consider a 3 spade bid, but yeah, your hand's relatively flat. The opponents are showing decent amounts of points, and your queen jack of hearts are not great for trying to play the hand.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that people don't do enough is listen to the bidding. You've got a likely opening hand from south. You've got an invitational hand to game from north. Your partner usually has nothing. They're blessed with 3 more points than what they've promised, and you still can only make 7 tricks with spades. Not to mention the fact that you're vulnerable. So for me, I'm just going to sit back, wish I opened 2 no trump, and
if north slightly underbid and just bid 2 hearts, I would be bidding 2 spades with the east hand though.
yes, I agree with that. That's fine. I just don't like rebidding at the 3 level with not a fantastic suit. We don't have enough intermediate cards, the 10s and 9s and 8s. Ace, King, 10, 9, 8. Sure, I'd probably consider 3 spades, but without those middling cards, as we see any bad break, A, you're likely to get doubled, and B, just any bad break means you've got all these extra losers. So, no.
Moving on to board number 26. East is close to an opening hand, but I wouldn't do it vulnerable, so I'd pass. What would you do with the south hand?
So with the south hand, I have 14 high card points. 1 for length is 15. And as my longest suit is a minor with the 2 doubletons, I'm happy to open 1 no trump. So I would open 1 no trump, which would probably end the auction, and that would go quite terribly for me.
Yeah. I personally would open 1 no trump as well, but I assume the vast majority of people are opening a diamond, which is okay.
Work well in this hand.
The west hand has an interesting problem as well. Do you bid 2 clubs or do you double?
Again, because as we've sort of shown on a few of the previous hands, that when your long suit's a minor, you should always be tending towards double. If your long suit was a major, I tend towards bidding that. So for me, I'm a doubler. What are you?
Yeah, I like double here. Gets a little bit awkward after that, so it goes a diamond, double, north would pass.
Yeah.
And east has a good hand. They've got both majors. They're not sure which one to actually pick. And this is, again, one of the spots where you can bid the opponent's suit. Say, hey, I want to start a conversation. I need more information. Where do you actually want to play?
And if you're not as fancy as Peter Hollins, you just have to bid one of your suits at probably the 2 or the 3 level. I would personally bid at the 3 level. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like absolutely maximum. If I had to choose, I'd be bidding probably 3 hearts. But
yeah, I don't have any problems whichever one you bid, 3 hearts or 3 spades. Now, if you did bid that, the west hand would have a very tricky problem in that they've got a bit extra. However, the Queen of Diamonds probably isn't a great card, so I'd probably just pass, having only 3 cards in my partner's suit and a potentially wasted queen. That would probably be for me where it would end.
Yep.
About 27.
Okay, so here South has a 5-5 in the majors with 10 points. I would be opening this 1 spade, would you?
Yep, definitely. I count 1 point for each of my 5 card suits, bringing me up to 12, and I've always bid the higher of 2 5-card suits, so 1 spade.
West has a really interesting problem over this. Do they bid at all? A few different choices. I'm sure lots of people would overcall 2 diamonds here, but for me, again, if I'm overcalling at the 2 level, especially in a minor, I want a 6-card suit or really good suit quality, and I just don't have it here. And this one might be an illustration of why it could work out badly.
Yeah, you overcall 2 diamonds, the north hand passes waiting for south to reopen with a double, and then the north-south make 3 diamonds. So what's that, 800 points you lose? And that's sort of a good reason why you shouldn't overcall with bad suits. It is tempting, though. I wouldn't also crucify anybody who chose 1 no trump.
Yeah, so
that would work equally poorly.
Yeah, like 1 no trump is a consideration. We're not a balanced hand. We're a high card point shy, but we've got really good stoppers in spades. It would be tempting to me, but I'm pretty sure no one, maybe no one really actually chose that option. But I don't actually think it's a terrible choice.
I would rather 1 no trump than 2 diamonds. Despite the fact I suspect that everybody in the field overcalled 2 diamonds.
The third option is maybe making a takeout double, but here if partner bids clubs, you're in a bit of trouble. If you then have to bid again, you would be showing a really strong hand and you're a bit stuck there. Yeah. And the final option, which I personally would probably try, is just passing.
Yeah, I like a pass. I think you'll occasionally miss out on a heart fit is the only downside of passing, but bidding 2 diamonds doesn't get you to a heart fit, so I think passing is pretty sensible, over which north will bid diamonds, south will bid their hearts, and then north will jump to 3 no trump. If the west hand does overcall 2 diamonds, the question is for north is, are you too good to pass and hope that your partner reopens with a double? If you think you are, you might just jump to 3 no trump.
I really like trying to punish my opponents for poor overcalls, so I would be passing even if I risk it. One of the things I really like to do in my partnerships is, let's say we did pass. It goes a spade, 2 diamonds, pass. Lots of south people would be tempted just to bid 2 hearts. But whenever I have a shortage, I really strive to make a takeout double instead. It makes it awkward. You might not be able to show your 5th heart, but I really go for my opponents so much.
Yeah, Pete and I just have a rule when we played together that if you have a singleton or a void in the opponent's suit, you just reopen with a double, and because your partner's almost certainly lurking. So last board, what do we think?
Yeah, so here West has only 2 high card points and a 6-card spade suit and are favourable. I'm not sure how many people would do this, but I would be preempting 2 spades on this hand.
Me too. Get in there.
Basically, vulnerability matters so much for me when I am preempting. If I am not vulnerable and the opponents are, I don't care about suit quality. I don't care about my points. If it looks remotely like a preempt, I will get in there and preempt.
Come on, play it fair. Even if it doesn't look remotely like a preempt, we get in there as well. So,
if I was vulnerable, however, this would be so far away from a 2-spade bid. It's not.
You must have 2 of the top 3 or 3 of the top 5 for a vulnerable preempt. Whereas not vulnerable preempt is, hey, I've got 13 cards.
Yeah. So I really like trying to open people's eyes to preempting based on vulnerability. But I'm going to.
Would you open the east hand as a preempt on board 27?
Yeah.
I would too. If apart from the fact it's in clubs, if that suit was diamonds, hearts, or spades, I would have opened a preempt in 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, or 2 spades. That's really how far out we go with preempts. So let's go back to assuming that the west hand passes.
North now has an interesting choice of do they preempt or not. Now they're vulnerable against not. Their suit quality is okay. And they've got 2 aces. How would you go on this one?
I don't like preempting with 2 aces. I just think it's not a winning strategy because your partner will end up sacrificing too much. Aces are just so good because you get to regain the lead, and basically a preempt says my hand will not defend well. Aces, they're good. You've just got 2 guaranteed defensive tricks. The likelihood that your opponents are making game is very minimal. So I'm not a preemptor, vulnerable.
I just want to reiterate, we're encouraging preempting on the west hand and not on the north hand.
Yes.
That's how much vulnerability matters to us. And
yeah, it is quite funny, isn't it? That the north hand, no, that's not good enough to preempt, but the west hand, yeah, get in there, go for it. So yeah, that is really a perfect example of vulnerability and how it plays a role. So let's just say it goes pass. The east hand will probably open a diamond. South will double, and with the north hand, I'd just bid 4 hearts.
yeah, so the north hand's got great shape, 6 card suits with a high likelihood of finding a 10 card fit. You want to really try and stretch to a bid game there. I think 4 hearts would be a good bid.
Yep, and I don't think South's quite good enough to progress towards a slam, particularly with what looks to be a wasted king of diamonds, given the 1 diamond bidder. 1 diamond bid, more accurately. I think that would just end the auction, and 12 pretty easy tricks, really.
Yeah. Let's go back to our ideal auction of west opening 2 spades. We go 2 spades, north would pass, east would pass.
Well.
What would you do with the south hand?
Good question, and I tend to just bid 2 no trump with a hand like that. The singleton king is not ideal, but I don't want to double because I might hear my partner bid diamonds. I think that I've got good spade stops. 2 no trump will describe my hand, and that's not 20 to 22 points in a balanced hand because I didn't open. The overcall of no trumps at the lowest level is sort of 16 through to about 19. What do you think?
Yeah, I think 2 no trumps is good. But I just wanted to highlight preamps do work. Look out, the opponents should get to 4 hearts after that bid, but you make South make a very uncomfortable overcall here.
And I think quite a lot of people would probably just pass.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing good to bid. And then you've won the contract in 2 spades, going down 3 or 4 for minus 150, rather than the opponents getting 680 for making 4 hearts. So I think the 2 spade bid would throw a spanner in the works. And I mean, if your partner was even aggressive, it could go 2 spades past 3 spades. Now what would you do with the south hand?
I would probably pass, but
yeah, I think I would too. And that's just proof of how good preamps are. That you take an auction where if you don't bid, the opponents get to 4 hearts, boom, straight there almost. Whereas when you do preamps, there are heaps and heaps of options where the opponents will go wrong.
All right. Well, thank you all for playing the Grand National Novice Pairs. Hope you had an enjoyable time. Hope you enjoyed our analysis, and thanks, Justin, for joining me.
All right, thanks all. Good luck for next time.
Bye.
Bye.